Hello everyone, welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with your host Jodi-Kay. Today I'm joined by Jason Willis-Lee from Madrid and Jodi-Kay Edwards from Dallas, Texas. Welcome to the show, guests.
Thank you very much, Julian. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. All right, we're going to play Jeopardy. Jodi, you can kick things off. Let's load up the board. The categories today are nature, household hacks, British history, vocabulary, sculpture, and science. All of which Jodi is an expert in.
How do they do this? I'll take household hacks for 200, Julian.
Household hacks for 200. To keep your refrigerator smelling clean, use baking soda or this barbecue fuel.
Barbecue fuel. I don't even barbecue.
Something you can put in smelly areas and it will soak up the smell. It's also used in some types of barbecues, not all of them. It's not used in propane barbecues.
Oh my gosh. I don't even think I know where to start. I was going to say propane until you said it.
The answer is charcoal. You're still in control, Jodi. What would you like next?
Let's do it. Nature for 300.
Nature for 300. Pick up a walking stick and you'll see that it has this many legs. Pick up a walking stick and you'll see that it has this many legs. It's something in nature.
Yeah, I hate walking sticks.
I don't get this question at all. I mean, are they trying to get you to say one of those insects that looks like a stick?
Yeah.
I don't know. This one's weird.
I know they have 2 in the front because it's actually the thing that I hate the most. But I'm wondering if they have 4 in the back and 2 in the front. I feel like it's 6 because it's not like a centipede.
Let's go with 6. This is as good as a guess of any. 6, I think, is what it says. Let me just make that bigger. 6 is correct. Well done. Is there an insect called the walking stick?
There is.
Oh, I see. So the terminology threw me off because we call it a stick insect down here.
Okay.
Yeah,
in Jamaica, we call it a walking stick.
Gotcha. Kingston, Jamaica.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, I won't do a Jamaican accent. All right, Jodi, continue on.
I'll do vocabulary for 300.
Vocabulary for 300. This other name for a hazelnut is from a saint whose feast day falls during the nutting season. Another name for a hazelnut, and it's a saint, some sort of nut. Cashew, Saint Cashew, or almond. Let's have a look. It is actually filbert. Is that a name for a hazelnut?
No.
You know what? I think it's only one state, like maybe up in the north of the United States. Somebody told me that they call them filberts, and the other American guest said, "What on earth are you talking about?"
Same.
Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, you're still in control. What would you like, Jodi?
I'll do household hacks for 100.
Household hacks for 100. If you push each of these birthday items into a marshmallow, wax won't drip onto the cake.
Ooh, a candle.
Candle, it's got to be. I have to try that. I usually just drip the wax all over the cake and then give it to the kids.
Little parenting.
Yeah. All right. What would you like next?
We'll do nature for 400.
Nature for 400. If you know the answer, just holler out, Mr. Willis. Cormorant is related to this pouched creature. Now, cormorant is a bird, but what sort of bird would have a pouch? Pouches are kangaroos and things. There's no way a cormorant bird is related to a kangaroo. These are tough.
These are tough. This is my worst fear coming true. I was like, if I'm ever on Jeopardy and don't know the answers, but this is practice.
Well, you've actually got one right, so it could be worse.
I have no idea what that.
Let's take a look. The answer is the pelican.
Oh, the
Okay. Oh, the pouch is in the gullet or the mouth or the beak or whatever.
Yeah.
Jodi, what would you like?
I'll do. I do love nature. Nature for 200.
Nature for 200. To add to its nocturnal habits, these facial features on a tarsier are as big as its brain. I know this one. I saw these at the zoo last year.
Tarsier. I don't know if I know what that is.
They are this. I think they're this tiny little monkey, and they are cute as hell because of this feature they've got. They've got 2 of them.
Oh, what is that thing called? I think I saw it in a.
Can I answer, Julian?
Yes, you can.
Is it a bat?
No, we wanted to know what the facial features were
that
are as big as its brain.
Right.
Eyes.
Eyes is correct. Well done. These tiny little things and these big eyes are very cute. Jodi, what would you like?
Let's do household hacks for 500.
It's hot in here. Household hacks for, was that 500?
Yes, sir.
Go big or go home. You can do this to many wrinkled fabrics over a hot light bulb. Set them on fire and burn your house down.
That's one option. Use the many wrinkled
What would you be
fabrics.
doing to wrinkled fabrics with something hot?
Iron.
I reckon. Yes,
Yeah.
iron them. You can iron them with your light globe. That sounds like a pretty bad household hack.
And it sounds like it takes a long time, Julian.
Yeah, a globe to do your whole jeans or whatever. Jodi, what would you like?
You notice I'm staying away from the British history. Even though I feel like coming from Jamaica, that should definitely be something I'd be good at. And science, my least favorite subject. I'm gonna knock out these nature ones. I'll do nature for 500.
Nature for 500. The Douglas fir is not a true fir. It belongs to the evergreen family.
Is this a complete sentence?
The answer for this one is the pine. Wow, these are really obscure. I have to tell you.
Yeah, that was tricky.
All right,
Yep.
let's cross the floor and let Jason have a crack at a few now. What would you like, Jason?
Well, Julian, I'm British, so let's go for British history
British
for 100.
history for 100.
Save that one for you, bud.
The Normans built many of these with mottes and baileys around the country.
I'm going to say castles.
Is correct. Well done. This is Jason's category. What would you like?
What about science for 100?
Science for 100, formulated NaCl. It is the chemical name for common table salt.
Sodium chloride.
Sodium chloride is correct. Well done. Jason has
This is
been
good.
activated. Super
Let's do
sub.
another British history for 200. I'm on a
British
roll
history for 200. This new form of football was invented in 1823 when a boy carried the ball instead of kicking it.
now. That's got to be rugby.
Rugby. And it was William Webb Wallace? Is that who it was? Webb Ellis. William Webb Ellis.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to play rugby. All right, continuing on. What would you like there, Jason?
Science for 200.
Science for 200. Of these 3 basic states of matter, only this one, when unconfined, tends to expand indefinitely.
That's got to be gaseous gas.
Well done. Somebody was paying attention in science class in 10th grade. Not me. I was
Not me.
I was drawing or throwing things. I was terrible. Jason, what would you like?
Let's go back to British history, 300. This is going well.
British
It
history
is.
for 300. Henry II referred to him as a turbulent priest.
Ooh, turbulent priest.
Now, priest, they didn't use... Priest was like the Catholic Church, not the Church of England, which is reverend. So, who's... this is my attempt at being logical. Who is the boss of the Catholic Church?
The Pope.
That's what I would go with.
Yeah, let's go with the Pope. Well, I don't know who the Pope was in the time of Henry II. But
The answer
I'll say
is Becket. Was he a Pope?
Thomas Becket.
Was he a Pope?
No, he was a heretic, wasn't he?
Oh, it was a naughty heretic.
Yes.
Well,
Science for 300? Should we do another
science for 300. Term for the time it takes a radioactive substance to decay to 50% of its original quantity.
Half-Life.
Half-Life. It's a good game too.
That is a good game. That's why I was like, I know that.
yeah. Jody and I know about the game, not the science. Jason, continue on. What would you like?
Can I do another science one for 400?
400 in biological classification. This comes between family and species.
I think it's genus. Is it genus?
Genus is correct. And you sound like you might be a genius.
Yes, absolutely.
British history, $400.
I've got lots of dad jokes. British history for 400. The Rump Parliament wanted him to be the last king of England would ever name. The Rump Parliament wanted him to be the last king England would ever name. What's the Rump Parliament? Rump is like the butt.
That's what I was like. I just know a rump is a bum.
Rump steak.
Is this Henry VIII? I'm not sure of this one. Henry VIII?
It's Charles the First.
Right.
I wouldn't even know who he was. I know Henry VIII. I know some of the other ones. And the really big fat one. What was his name? One of the kings. And they've got one of those really old paintings of him. And he's just like 300 pounds. Well, I laughed. Anyway, I shouldn't laugh. Jason, what would you like?
Science for 500. Julian, let's do
Science
the last
for 500. On the Fahrenheit scale, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees and the boiling point is this. This might trick you up because Fahrenheit is not what you use in the UK.
I know, it's 100 degrees Celsius.
Jody, this is an opportunity.
Jody,
what's the boiling in Fahrenheit?
Oh my gosh. I don't
it's
know.
100 degrees C, isn't it? But I don't know the Fahrenheit.
The answer is 212 Fahrenheit if you want to boil your tea kettle.
Oh.
Jason, you're in control. What would you like?
Let's do a household hack for 300.
Household hack for 300 to keep this guacamole ingredient from darkening. Leave the pit in it.
Avocado.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Is correct. Well done.
Cool.
What else is in guacamole? Egg. Yeah. Eggs don't have pits. That was an easy question.
I was going to say lemon, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, to stop it dark, put lemon juice on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You can do that. Jason.
What about vocabulary for 500?
Vocabulary for 500. Cyborg, describing something that's part human and part robot, is a combination of these two words.
First word is cyber, and the second word is... Oh my gosh. Cyber... Jody,
have you seen Terminator 2?
Yes. A very long time
Arnold
ago.
says this.
In his little...
Yeah, when he's explaining himself to John Connor.
Yes, cyber and...
I am a cybernetic organism.
Organism.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Right.
Jason, you're in control still. What would you like? We'll do one more question, then we'll wrap it up.
Let's do British history for 500. Julie.
British history for 500. This became a royal palace after Henry VIII confiscated it from Cardinal Wolsey. This became a royal palace. So Henry VIII confiscated something from Cardinal Wolsey. What did the Cardinal have?
I think it's Windsor Castle. It's Windsor Castle.
Hampton
Hampton
Court is the
Ooh.
answer. We're going to wrap things up there as far as the game goes. Jodi was on 1,100 points and Jason on 1,400. Well done. It was actually a pretty close game.
Pretty close.
Yeah, I feel like you were going to say I had 200 points.
Well, you must have got it. Maybe, you must have got a few more correct, or maybe I was pressing the wrong button. I don't know.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you had fun.
I love seeing where everyone thrives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jodi from Kingston, Jamaica. I was going to ask you, one of the categories we had was Jamaican cuisine. Are you familiar with Jamaican cuisine?
A little bit. Curry, ackee and saltfish.
Jerk chicken?
Jerk chicken, yep, dumplings.
Well, you would have dominated that category. We had that category once.
Ooh, that is a fun category.
And how old were you when you moved to Dallas?
Dallas, I was in my late 20s.
Oh, wow. I cannot hear even a trace of your Jamaican accent.
Well, I lived in Wisconsin for a very long time. So before I moved to Dallas, actually was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I moved to America when I was 7.
7 years old. And Dallas is a bit different to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It is. Yep. Yeah, there's just a lot more going on here.
A lot more going on. Better weather. Better music scene. Party scene. More fun.
The air quality in general.
What's wrong with the air quality in Green Bay?
Oh, actually, I think it's the opposite. The air quality in Dallas is
gotcha.
great.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how did you get into the work you were in? Now, there is somebody with your name that's was in Empire, the TV show. Is that you or somebody with your name?
That's me.
Oh, wow. So you've done a bit of acting as well.
It's your research. I love it.
Wow.
So you're an actress as well. Tell us a little bit about that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I have always been a creative soul, and so acting was just one of those ways for me to kind of get into the entertainment industry. I've always been really soft-spoken and a little shy, so I've always tried to put myself in situations that would help me grow, a couple years from then and not hinder me. So I joined the military, I became an actress, just wanted to have a creative outlet, but then also push myself out of my comfort zone.
Did you meet Jussie Smollett when you were in Empire?
I did, yes. The whole cast is actually very sweet, very, very sweet. Always pouring into us in between takes, sharing knowledge, dropping some jokes. So that was a really cool set experience.
A good environment, because some people tell me that some TV shows it's like really stressful, and then other ones it's really collaborative and fun. So it sounds like you had good experience, and you were in a few other shows as well.
I was, yeah. Empire definitely was like a real great collaborative and fun experience. And Chicago PD was another one, where the cast and crew.
Show.
Yeah. They're long days, and it's nice when people aren't mean or terrible because we're all tired.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you work very hard doing that. And then how did you get into, building brands for, is it celebrities you work with?
Yeah, it's a handful of celebrities. I would say high-profile individuals, whether they're on a board somewhere, they have a product or service that's already on the market, or they have something that they're trying to take to market. And so I've always kind of considered myself to be a Jane of all trades. And my background in the entertainment industry, I was able to see kind of the gap in terms of where, they might have additional things going on in addition to the show, or they might supplement their income with brand deals, or, they might land interviews to speak on the show that was filming after the fact, because there's a lot of things we can't say while the show is filming or in production. But I noticed there's this gap in just storytelling. And I've met so many cool people behind the scenes, not just the celebrities. The people behind the scenes is actually what got me more interested, because I'm like, wow, you're you're doing all this stuff. You're really you're the engine that's keeping everything going. What have you worked on? What have you done? And then it turns out that they've done all these amazing things. So when I started my company, behind the scenes agency, it was focusing, the celebrities too. That's great, but there's also so many amazing hidden gems and individuals and personal brands that do so much for their communities. And I'm really all about amplifying those people. It's all about impact. Who's making an impact, regardless of your status, and how can I help you generate more income from just the essence of you?
So, so you're working with people who are associated with the entertainment industry, but they're kind of in the the background a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a combination of both, right? It's a combination of, high level CEOs, or maybe someone on their team, or of course the entertainment industry is just like one niche. But then there's also
Okay.
a lot of like SMEs, like small to medium sized enterprises. Those CEOs are needing a majority of the help.
And what is the problem that they have, and that you are filling for them? Can you explain that for me a little bit?
Yeah, for the CEOs, there's just a gap. Either they're too close to it. Like sometimes I'll work with these SaaS guys, and because they're in the tech industry, there's a disconnect between how they communicate what their product does or their software does, and what they actually can contribute to that, to maybe make it more manageable, make it a little bit more understandable. So, for example, I'm working with an attorney right now, and she has this amazing concept um, for her company. And she's a little bit different. She's not your average attorney. She's going to show up in the cheetah boots and the band tee and the blazer, right? And she might swear a little bit, but her brain is brilliant in how she breaks down legalese. So when I see the opportunity there, it's like, well, you don't have to be like the other attorneys. You're definitely not a boring person. Your personality is not boring. So let's find the intersection between the two. For the SaaS guys, how can you show up? And if you're a little nerdy, it's okay. Let's amplify that. What else are you doing? How can you incorporate some of your personal stories and tie it back to your software? Or if you're a high level CEO, how can we take the essence of you, your personal brand, your personality, and put that out there?
I got you. So it's about messaging, really. It's how to distill the best point or the best story about your product or the best aspect of the person's personality that is going to resonate with people who see it, which is it is a gap, and it's like that. It's a thing that you just don't even know. You can't put your finger on it, but when you see it and you see somebody that's doing it well, you immediately go, wow, this is speaking to either me or somebody, and you understand it. Have you got some examples of people that you mentioned the lawyer, and how did you kind of focus on her personality, and what types of messaging and that did you create that achieved that?
Yeah, the first step is we sit down. Doesn't matter what your background is, we sit down and I have you just authentically talk about yourself. And I'm going to find common themes, even in this intro here with the other guests, it's instantly I've already heard a handful of things that he's interested in. So I might say, okay, absolutely, let me listen to your podcast. You mentioned that you have a podcast. You mentioned that you went to podcast, so it seems Podfest. It seems like you don't mind traveling. So it's almost like, what was your morning like for you the day that you were traveling to Podfest? There's a story there, right? And so I'm really going in and I'm extracting it. Maybe his significant other was having an emergency or something funny happened that we can share about life. Maybe his family or a family member gave him a hug right before he hopped on the airplane, and he wanted to speak on the importance of work-life balance, right? So there's all these intersections of daily life that a lot of my clients, they're so busy, right? They're running an empire, so they don't have time to sit down and strategically think about where they can tell stories, but they're so focused on the outcome, where I'm saying, you know what, this is the part that we need to document, the journey, right? So let's take those everyday moments and your real thoughts and really put your thought leadership forward, in addition to doing a call to action to what you do. Hey, by the way, book a call, or hey, by the way, this, how can we tie it back to translation, right? Or the actual core service of what you do, for example.
Yes, storytelling. It's there's something about it that the human brain immediately loves and remembers. And if you're trying to explain something, if you're telling facts, people forget. But if you're telling stories, everyone will remember. So it's very important stuff. And if you want to have a chat to Jodi, what's the first step, Jodi?
Absolutely. You can find me at Jodi-Kay.edwards.com. This is this wonderful little screenshot that I see you've got here at my website, www.Jodi-Kay.edwards.com. I'm Jodi-Kay Edwards on pretty much all social media platforms. And if you are looking for a way to DIY your personal brand strategy right now, I have a free challenge that you can join by going to www.Jodi-Kay.edwards.com/CEO.
Gotcha. So the link is in the show notes, Jodi-Kay.edwards.com. Just put a /CEO on the end of it and do the challenge. Thank you very much, the wonderful Jodi-Kay.
Thank you, Jillian.
Excellent. Well, let's pop over to Jason and tell us a little bit about what you're up to. So, Jason Willis-Lee, you have done, you're a translator and you help with interpreting, copywriting and all of that. One of the things that, I don't know, I read it somewhere about you was that people are using AI. Maybe you mentioned it before we went live. People are using AI and that's a challenge. And so how can people involved in translations, copywriting, differentiate their service from just whacking it in ChatGPT?
Yeah, that's a great question, Julian. Yeah, that's correct. I'm a medical translator based in Madrid. I do Spanish and French to English, and I'm also starting a bit of consultancy, helping firms get more work. And yeah, basically my attitude to AI is using it as a tool to leverage productivity. I still think at the top end of the spectrum, so that's medicine, law, finance, you need a human to really get a polished product. To those clients who care about quality, which is, most people, there are three types of clients: those who care about quality, willing to pay for it; those who care about quality are not willing to pay for it; and those who care about quality and do not want to pay for it. Those who don't care about quality. So I aim to serve the top tier, obviously, and you need to just make it very clear what the limits of AI. I mean, AI is pretty good, but it's still not as good as a human translator, Julian.
100%, Jason. And sorry, I've just got sweat in my eyes and it's driving me crazy. It's like 110 degrees and I have to turn the aircon off in my studio so it doesn't make noise. Anyway, never mind that. What I was going to say was I can tell immediately when somebody is using AI in their sales copy on their podcast profiles. I can tell straight away it's ChatGPT. And as you said, you can do part of the work with ChatGPT, and I've written extremely good sales copy with, but I use ChatGPT just to crunch out the basics, and then I go in and do the rest of it myself. And this is where you need a professional copywriter, such as Jason, medical translator. Writing is a skill that good writing is. It's just essential when people are going through and reading your sales page or whatever, and you cannot do it with AI, and people can tell if you think you could just do it. So this is why you need a professional, and so that's interesting. I don't really think it's that much of a threat. It's more of a tool that will give you a structure or an a structure that you can build on. I was going to ask you about Podfest. What on earth goes on at Podfest, Jason?
Oh, Podfest! Wow, my body is still aching after Podfest, Julian.
Oh, goodness me! I thought
it
was about podcasting.
No, it was a very nice event. John Lee Dumas was there, so imagine how impressive it was to hear John Lee Dumas. He was over from Puerto Rico, so I was just honored to be in the same room as him.
I've heard of him. Who's he? I've heard that name.
He is the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire, Julian.
Oh, yes, I've heard that. Yes, I have. Yep.
very well-known podcast. He was very impressive. He came along with his baby boy Bo, who was on stage jumping around, and that was very impressive. It was just a very top quality event, Julian. It was VIP networking and a VIP event. There were 1,800 attendees. That's 1800. I've never been at an event with more than 300 people, and this was 1,800 people. So I was just
introvert's nightmare.
Yeah, an introvert's nightmare. And I am an introvert, but I'm the kind of introvert who can pretend to be an extrovert just for a couple of days. That's me. So I got some amazing conversations outside the room. I mean, there were very good sessions. I learned how to do a good podcast pitch, how to do this and that, and learn more about podcasting and get on shows like the one I'm on now. Is a great strategy to get to get into. So I thoroughly recommend Podfest. If Jodi lives in Dallas, that's semi-local for Florida. I obviously traveled a long way, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, it was an amazing trip.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit about your community that you're building of writers.
Yeah, thank you. So I have a micro community. That's the website there, entrepreneurialtranslator.com. You can find me there. It's a community of freelance translators, interpreters, copywriters. Any freelancer can come into our community. We're about 4,000 between LinkedIn, Instagram, and audience building is slow going, but it's about 4,000. And I'm delighted to serve this community. Everyone's worried about AI and just trying to stay in the game, stay relevant, depending on how old you are. I'm turning 50 in a few months' time. There are younger colleagues wondering about it. And it's basically just teaching people how to stay relevant and competitive. As Jodi said, standalone personal branding is very important. What is it that sets us apart? It's our personal life. There's only one person who's lived your life and my life, and that's us. So that storytelling of our lives has to come through in our copy, in our web online assets. So that's what I help people with. I help them generate leads, and I do that with LinkedIn and just teaching P2P selling, person to person. People still buy from people despite older machines. So I think P2P selling is important. VIP networking, going to events like Podfest, stepping outside your comfort zone, as I did. I traveled, 4,000 or 5,000 miles, and just leveraging AI, just working smarter, not harder, using the tools available to us. And I'm having a lot of fun, Julian. I really think business has to be fun, and doing business with partners who are fun as well. And I'm having a blast. This as I just come into my 6th decade, which will be in July. I'm really enjoying life and meeting some wonderful people, and Podfest was an example of that.
Well, you don't look that old, Jason.
Oh, thank you. That's
you,
great.
You still got some hair, which is you got that going for you.
I've got some hair still. It's a bit delicate on top, but I've got most of it.
More than I have. And that's wonderful. So if you're out there and you are in the writing business, copywriting, translating, all of that stuff, and you want to have a look at how we can deal with AI and still be relevant, which you really can. And do you talk about, you mentioned, doing the higher end stuff. That seems to be the logical approach. What does that involve, and what are some of the clients that you consider to be good clients in that respect?
Yeah, that's a great question. So high end, it's basically niching down, Julian. You have to niche down into, say, medicine. I'm a medical translator. I found it easy to niche into medicine because I studied medicine for 4 years. So that was a natural choice for me. Other niches are law, finance, art history, sports translation. You can get into sports translating contracts, for example. That's a niche. So I think niching down is very important. John Lee Dumas at the event, he said, an inch wide and a mile deep. So go an inch wide and a mile deep, and that means success isn't about doing everything every moment of the day and burning out. It's just going very deep into one thing. So that was something that resonated with me that he said on the keynote. So if you want premium clients, you just have to you have to do your hours. I mean, there were days, years when I was working 9 to 6 for less fees than I charge now, and I did my time to work my way up the ladder, and I'm pleased to be still relevant and competitive, and some people listen to what I have to say, which is pretty cool. And but I do recommend niching down into one of those. I'm in medicine, and some of the clients would be research articles for journals. So they would be author clients, biomedical research foundations, hospitals, researchers. I do clinical trials, which is a lot of patient-facing documentation, consent forms, information leaflets, that kind of thing. I do medical reports, which are quite technical documents. Maybe a clinical trial patient has tragically died in a trial, and the contract research organization needs to know what happened so that doesn't happen again, or minimize the possibilities. So those are some of the clients you can work for. And if you have a technical grasp of the field, Julian, it's pretty easy to niche down and just be an expert in that thing. You cannot do everything. I can't be an expert on, so technical equity, for example, finance, that would be a technical thing I'm not an expert in. Legal documents, property deeds, there are people more qualified than I am, but certainly the documents that I do, I think I do them pretty well and get some good results for my clients.
What are some of the things that people could niche down in if they are not technically skilled?
So non-technical areas, okay, I was going to say IT, well, that's pretty technical. Literary translation would be a good one. So you could do books, and the advantage of that is you get a very, very long deadlines. The disadvantage is that field is not so lucrative. It's less well paid as, for example, the medical and legal people, but you get a lot of time to do those books. I would say the creative industries in general, you can niche down into sales copy for website copywriting, that kind of thing.
The direct response copywriting is something I love. And do you have many people that are involved in that, and is that profitable? I do it for myself, but I hear that people write sales copy for businesses, and that can be a good earner. Is that correct?
I think that is correct, Julian. We have a few copywriters in our community. I had a book copywritten. I got a book out last year, just a first version book, how to find more direct clients. Most of our people start working with agencies, so eventually you want to work up and work directly, cut out the middleman. And I had that book professionally copywritten. I was astounded how better it was after the version I gave my copywriter, and after she put my branding in and put all these references into Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Back to the Future, all the things that I grew up with. The final results were just so much better than what I gave him at the beginning. So gave her, excuse me. It was a woman. And that's, I would say copywriting at the top end is very lucrative. I mean, if you're writing for the likes of SPI and Pat Flynn or who knows, John Lee Dumas, you can make pretty good money because those guys are doing pretty well.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that you wouldn't even know their names, and they are doing all sorts of stuff on paid ads, and they are always looking for people to write good sales copy. It's about bringing the sizzle to the page. It's really that's what it's all about. Well, that's very interesting. So people out there, if you want to get into a community, this is a great idea because it will teach you how to improve your own writing. It will open up opportunities that maybe you can discuss or discover, and you can learn how to differentiate what you're doing, niche down, and all of that. So some really interesting topics that Jason Willis-Lee is doing with his community. If you want to join that, check out the show notes, and you can do so. And also thank you, the wonderful Jodi-Kay Edwards, for coming on and sharing all of that interesting stuff. I'm going to wrap things up. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.